Okay, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Ironically, what came out today on Netflix ends up being the Human Centipede 2, the full sequence. This is the unrated director's cut. I, I'm pretty sure if they were to actually have to rate this, it would probably be maybe like a half an hour long movie. The premise behind this is you have an asthmatic, overweight, short, middle-aged, sexually and mentally abused man who's living with his emotionally abused mother, who blames him for her husband, also his father, being in jail based off the years of sexual abuse that he performed on him. It's hinted at probably when he was a child. And he has this weird fascination with the movie, The Human Centipede. What makes this movie actually kind of work is the main character, this guy, Martin, has no dialogue. There's times he's like, ee, as he's feeding, crickets to a centipede at his psychiatrist's office. And there's lots of this, like, just grunts and groans. And this guy he is like the epitome of what you think, when you think bizarre, pathetic horror fan. And he is absolutely obsessed with this film. And then he actually decides to take it forward. Maybe. I have to throw in maybe. And essentially, all you pretty much see is you see him, and then almost any other person they show, he either kills or they become part of his human centipede. Of course, he's a parking lot attendant, so he actually lacks the medical skills and the tools. What I didn't like about the first one is, they begin with the surgery, and then they end with them all fused. This one, they actually show an awful lot of what he actually does. The most uncomfortable scene, actually, there's two that I found to be really, really uncomfortable. One is he's removing a guy's teeth by essentially having him lay head down on a concrete surface and beating them in with a hammer. Yeah, so he's doing these things with like kitchen knife, hammer, like a giant kitchen fork, scissors. So he's doing this with random things you'd find around the house, and a staple gun and duct tape. The scenes of him when he's doing like the knee surgery, knowing I might need to have that later on in life, and I'm like cutting the tendons, pretty out there. The one weird thing is he actually does get one of the girls from the original Centipede movie. He kind of off camera convinces her convinces her agency that she's going to be applying for a Quentin Tarantino role. And she talks about, have you seen The Human Centipede, this, that, and the other thing. And that becomes, of course, his A unit. And where the first one, they didn't show as much, this one, they go into very, very great detail to show that, if you were to be fused together and you were to have to essentially be root to toot, what would happen if you actually were to have to ingest a whole 11-person diet? So there's a scene where he does use a laxative. And of course, the movie being shot in black and white, except for one sequence where there is lots of brown, that of course being the laxative sequence. There is a slight bit of, I'll just say, sadistic humor, because when he's hitting them with these injections of laxative, he's going so he's making the sound effects. And there's a scene where he's going to knock them out, and he walks around and he hits them like it's whack-a-mole. This one is, if you've got a strong stomach. I mean, is there anything redeeming about this movie? No, not really. This is kind of bizarre and brutal for the sake of being bizarre and brutal. And probably beyond the teeth section, what happens to the pregnant woman is probably one of the more disturbing scenes in this essentially all disturbing movie, with very, very, very little dialogue.